Hi, I'm Randy Hollenbeck, and this is the Music Roundtable. Today on the show, we have Dom from alternative rock band Nowhere Left.
What's going on?
A stranger to myself, a danger to my health. No one else can tell. I'm at the bottom. Silence grows as I get older. I'm the burden on their shoulders. A bottle of my hope, and pass it over. In my head, this static never ends. Can't pretend. I feel like me again. In my head, this static never ends. It can't rain all the time. Something inside me says I don't wanna be here now. It's out of my control. It's out of my control. I keep my head up, but it's heavy when I'm alone. I can't escape these bones. I can't escape them.
Dom, the last time you were on the show was February 2022, and we were talking about your first single, Tragedy. What has been something you've learned as a musician over those past 2 years?
Oh man, so much. I was not prepared for that kind of a question. Um, I don't know, man. Just like I feel like I've grown so much as a singer. Specifically, like working with our producer Josh, who a lot of people may know as Low Spirit. Um, recording with him was just a wild experience, and just the way that he taught us to like convey certain emotions and how to get certain sounds out of my voice to kind of like really feel it more when you say it. I think has been one of the biggest things when it came to recording the album. And just in general as a band, like I feel like we've learned a lot as to connecting with our audience. And one of the biggest things is like we are super responsive and personal with our audience. Like anytime someone leaves a comment, we'll reply to them. And I think we've just learned that the band itself is kind of like bigger than a band. It's really like a community. And our biggest message, and I think we might have talked about it last time, is like we just really want everybody that like listens to us to feel like they have a safe space and to really just like be a part of something where they can come to us or listen to our music and just really like have a place or like something to listen to that like lets go of all their problems they're going through and just like I don't know, just like feels at home, like we want people to feel at home when they listen to us or they speak to us or like write to us. And um yeah.
You just released your album, Places We Couldn't Belong, and uh, you talked about working with your producer, Josh Landry. Now, can you tell me, like, did you work with him the whole time for the album, or did you work with different producers, or can you get into that?
Yeah. So pretty much with the album, we worked with Josh for almost everything. We worked with another producer, Zach Keel, who actually kind of started the album. This band in general kind of started as a side project for me when we were still in a band by the name of Call It Home. And I kind of wanted to experiment and do something a little different. And when the lineup kind of fell apart and we were kind of deciding what to do, if we should like get a new vocalist or rebrand or like whatever, I had already kind of started writing with Zach, and we had Tragedy, and then we had the instrumental for Hurt the Same done. And we were kind of talking, and we're like, maybe we should just do this instead, because like we've been doing metalcore for like 10 years, and we were like, maybe we should drift into something else. And so we kind of decided to just take the Call It Home members, give it a new name, and rebrand, and we became Nowhere Left, and then took Tragedy and the instrumental to Hurt the Same, and then we were just like, okay, let's kind of do this. So the instrumental to Hurt the Same was the first thing we had for the record, but we took it to Josh, and Josh and Zach are like best friends. So Zach sent me the stems for that song, and we went to Josh and kind of finished that song out and did Broken Story and These Bones. Those were our first three that we recorded. And then we did two different sessions after that with Josh. So we had three sessions in total. And we each did like three songs per session, pretty much. The last session we did four songs. Um, and over the course of like the last 2 years, we just kind of put it all together.
You must have started that session before we talked with tragedy and stuff. So it took you like almost 2 years to put this together.
Yeah, I think we started in, I think it was June of 2021 when we started. And then we did another session in January of 22. And then the last session was, I think, June of 22. So yeah. And then we just put it out, 2 weeks ago. So it's been like 2 years.
So what made you decide that to put it out at this time when you had all those songs already done?
So I think it was just a matter of the way, the internet is now and how people absorb music. Um, it's all about singles now. So we just started putting out single after single, and I kind of like wasn't sure how we were gonna really do it and when the album was fully gonna come out, but I was kind of taking notes of what other bands were doing, and I know that singles like kind of do well now. Like everyone wants like the instant gratification of just hearing a song right away. Um, and one thing I noticed was Memphis Mayfire. They put out like 7 or 8 singles off of their album that I think has 11 songs on it. And I was like, that's crazy. Like, I've never seen a band do that where they have like almost the whole album as singles. And I was like, maybe we should try that. So we put out like 7 of the 10 songs as singles. And I think it worked well because like we were just constantly making content and TikToks and all that kind of stuff for it to kind of reel in a new audience. And I think every time we put out a song, we were hitting a new audience at least a little bit. And so I think that kind of worked by like promoting the band. And as far as putting the album out as a whole, it was just kind of a matter of like everything being ready because it actually took us a lot of time to get the final mixes back because our producer went through a bunch of personal stuff and it was hard like communicating back and forth with him while he was dealing with all that. So there's a lot of like roadblocks as well that happened along the way, but I think it's just a matter of like wanting to get the most out of the album as we could as far as singles go, and then also just like making sure everything we had was prepared to be released.
Yeah, I think the way you did it was probably right because then you built like an audience as you were kept on releasing singles and stuff.
Yeah.
Now, you had a couple like featured guests on your album. How does that come about? Did you select them or how'd that happen?
Yeah, so we had 3 features. The first one was Low Spirit, obviously, because he recorded the record. Um, and he actually did it before he announced himself as an artist. Like, he recorded that feature when he was just a producer. He wasn't really doing his own music, and we just liked his voice and thought that he was a great, person and great musician. So we were like, "Hey, do you wanna, like, do a part on the song?" And he was down with it, so that was super cool. And then we had Mike from Boys of Fall on "You Don't Even Think About Me," and that song was just kinda like I love Mike's voice. I've been a fan of Boys of Fall for years, and I just wanted him, like, on a song, and we wrote this song that was very pop punk-esque, and I think that anyone who, like, listens to our album will hear the differences in all of our songs, but that one song in particular has this kind of vibe, and it kind of fit his vocal style, so I messaged him and I was like, "Hey, do you wanna, like, be a part of this?" And I sent him the song, and he was super down, and, their guitarist, Jake, who does a lot of their vocals as well, did the harmonies, which a lot of people kinda don't really know, but, um, his harmonies are in there too, so it's the both of them, and that was really cool, especially being, like, a big fan of Boys of Fall to have him, like, as part of the album. And then for Cole, that was kind of a fun one because I was just scrolling through TikTok one day, and I was just, like, going through videos, and a video of her teasing her song "Bad at Math" came up, and I was like, "Wow, this girl's voice is really pretty, like, I really like how she sounds." And just on a whim, I hit her up. I was like, hey, like, I love your voice. Like, would you want to do a song together? And it's kind of crazy because like we just kind of became friends through that and like through the internet. And she sent her stems over and we did the song. But since then, like, um, I took a vacation in Miami to see one of my friends, and she was down there at the same time, so we met up and hung out. And then last month, um, me and her husband and my buddy Chris, who was down in Miami as well, and our merch guy Mark, we all took a vacation to Tennessee together, and like then we went to film the video for Phantoms in Nashville, and I stayed at their house, and it's kind of crazy how like close we've gotten just from like meeting each other through TikTok, and now we're best friends, like family even. And like they just invited me down there for New Year's, and I'm just like, this is crazy that like I now have like this crazy friendship out of just asking someone for a feature that I found on TikTok. So I'm super stoked about that.
That's awesome. Now, I wanted to ask you a little bit about Josh. Now, he's worked with some of the artists that I've had on my show, like the Funeral Portrait, Citizen Soldier, and you. Now, is that one of the reasons you chose him as a producer?
The main reason we chose him as a producer is when we worked with Zach when we were in Call at Home. Um, the first day that we went to the studio, Zach was unavailable because he had made prior plans. So he's like, hey, my buddy Josh is going to come take care of your first song while I'm not there, and then I'll come back and meet up with you guys. So we get down to Louisiana where we were recording, and Josh was there, and he met us. And Zach was like, oh, you're in good hands. He did like this Motionless in White song. Like he's super good at what he does. So like, all right, cool. Like if he did a Motionless in White song, like I put my trust in him. And sure enough, he was really great at what he did. He really brought the best out of us, and we really enjoyed the process of working with him and Zach as well. So we did the Call at Home EP with Zach, but we liked Josh as well. And we were like, well, maybe since we're doing a new project, let's try working with Josh and see how that goes. So we hit him up, and we know the Funeral Portrait guys very well. So we knew that he was working on their stuff too. And so actually when we were doing the first 3 songs, Lee from the Funeral Portrait came to the studio, and I'm actually pretty sure Lee did harmonies on one of the songs. I just don't remember which one it is. But his vocals are in there somewhere. But yeah, we just worked with him because we really liked the experience we had with Call at Home, and we just kind of created a friendship over it. And after that, the rest is kind of history. Like we just enjoyed the whole process of working with him.
Okay. Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about Phantoms. There's like a really cool breakdown that you guys do. Like you trade vocals back and forth. Was that like something you guys planned out?
So when we were in the studio, like we kind of had the idea of, me doing like a verse and then her doing a verse. And I wasn't sure if like she was just going to add to the chorus or not. And I was like, it could be cool if she just did the whole chorus and then we came back in together and went back and forth. So I kind of sent her what we did, and I was like, you know what, like here's a blank verse, blank chorus, do all that. And then I was kind of thinking like we go back and forth for the bridge, which I wasn't sure like what she was going to do, if she was going to do the same lines I already did or make up her own, but she kind of just echoed what I was doing. And I kind of like how it came out. It turned out really catchy, and I think that her delivery on it was super cool, especially the way that it kind of like flows into the last chorus with her like holding the note out. And I think that whole part just came out super sick.
I've been moving on, moving on, moving on, yeah. I've been moving on, moving on, moving on, yeah. I'm just glad you're gone, glad you're gone, glad it's done, yeah. I'm just glad you're gone, glad you're gone, glad it's done, yeah. I've been moving on, moving on, moving on, yeah. I've been moving on, moving on, moving on, yeah. I'm just glad you're gone, glad you're gone. There ain't no going back. I'm just glad you're gone, glad you're gone. There ain't no I'm not afraid of phantoms. I'm not afraid of something I don't believe in. I'm not praying you're
I wanted to talk to you about the other song with the collaboration called "These Bones" you did with Josh. Now, did you have that planned out, or did he suggest, well, maybe I should sing a little bit here, or how did that happen?
So when we record and like we're coming up with melodies and stuff, Josh will like sing an idea if he has one. And just in him doing that, we're like, dude, you have like a good voice. Do you want to like be on one of our songs? And he was like, yeah, sure. Like if you guys want me to. And in the middle of like recording These Bones, he kind of like looked back at us and he's like, were you guys serious when you wanted me on a song? And we were like, yeah, like if you guys if you want to do it, like we're totally down. You have a great voice. And I think he chose These Bones specifically because the subject matter was very relatable for him. Like we were all experiencing depression and anxiety, and we've all kind of been there. And I think that kind of hit home for him. So once we were like doing the lyrics and the melodies and stuff, it kind of clicked that like this is the song. And so yeah, that's just kind of how it happened. We were just like super casual, like really no planning whatsoever. It was just kind of like he looked at us and was just like, "Do you actually want me to do this?" And we were just like, "Yeah, go for it."
Feelings, I can't stand it. Lost inside this panic. Numbness, I can't manage. All these thoughts weighing on my heart, breaking me apart. Scared of everything, and you're still not listening. In my head, this static never ends. Can't pretend, I feel like me again. In my head, this static never ends. It can't rain all the time. Something inside me says I don't wanna be here now. It's out of my control. It's out of my control. I keep my head up, but it's heavy when I'm all alone. I can't escape these bones. I can't escape them.
Now, there's a line in that song, "It can't rain all the time." Is that like a reference to The Crow?
It's not. um, I think someone else brought that up at some point, and it's really not. It's just like it can't rain all the time. Is just kind of like saying, it can't like feel this heavy all the time. It can't like, it can't always be like this. There's got to be a way out. Um, and that's just kind of what that references.
Okay. Now that the album's out, what do you guys got planned for the upcoming year?
So we already started writing. So we have like a bunch of other stuff we're working on with like different producers this time. We're kind of like branching out and trying new things. And I think that it's going to be like similar to our album now. It's every song is going to be different, like we're very experimental like that. And other than that, like we've been slacking on shows and touring because we just had, like I said before, a lot of roadblocks in the way. But I think actually as of today, we might have just confirmed a show for June. But we want to be playing earlier than June because that's a ways away. So I think once January hits, we're gonna hit rehearsals really hard, and then just start playing shows and doing some tours and prepping for some more song releases and stuff.
Okay. Where can we get a hold of you? Facebook, Instagram?
Yep, everything: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Threads now. We're on pretty much everything. Nowhere Left Music, or for Twitter, it's Nowhere Left _X. Now that that's X. And then we're on all the streaming platforms. So
That's all the questions I have. Thanks for coming on the show today. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
go stream Places We Couldn't Belong. I appreciate everybody who listens to it, and hopefully y'all take something away from it. And we wrote the record from a very dark place, but into once you get to the last 3 songs, it kind of flips into a very light place and a place of healing. And so I hope that people can kind of take something away from that and hopefully find a way to heal themselves. But other than that, yeah, I appreciate you having me on the show again.
Took me so damn long just to put my pain to rest. No, there's no more feeling down. I'm feeling better now. Shook hands with my problems and I watched them up and leave. Yeah, you took a piece of me, but now my heart's back on my sleeve. Dancing in the this graveyard where I would never step. Couldn't leave your ghost alone, couldn't put this thing to rest. Digging up the bones of this thing I can't forget, just to look it in the eyes, get a few things off my chest. I'm not afraid of phantoms,